Hello, welcome to Romania and at this cloud computing conference. Could you please summarize us what is the European cloud computing strategy?
Yes, hello. Thanks for being in Bucharest. Very nice. The European Commission has launched the cloud computing strategy in 2012 and have initiated now the project Cloud for Europe to foster the cloud adoption within the public sector within Europe and to help better provide the information for different countries in Europe to procure cloud services in the future.
The Cloud for Europe project includes all the European countries?
No, there are just a couple of European countries. Frankly speaking, at the moment there are around 13, and I'm happy to say that Romania is now becoming a new partner in that project. Others are, for example, just to name a few, it's Italy, it's Germany, it's Belgium, it's the Netherlands, it's Portugal, it's Israel, just to name a few for being part of that project.
What is the main objective of the Cloud for Europe project?
As I said before, the main objective of the Cloud for Europe project is to foster the adoption of cloud in the public sector. So it's really very much looking at the public sector and to see that the public sector can gain the expertise of cloud for their future handling public administration work and being more efficient in having services provided for.
All these countries where the Cloud for Europe project is going to be implemented are going to use similar perspectives, or are they going to include also local, national views?
I think one has to think differently. So there is one that you have the national view, and the other one is what Europe is about. So one thing is in the terms of having European cloud means you need to have a cooperation mechanism and willingness to jointly provide and use cloud services which do not and have not the functionality to hinder legal constraints on national borders, but rather to find those elements which help to better work together and even open up the market in Europe for new, small and medium-sized companies to provide cloud services for the public sector all over Europe and not only in a national border.
The European cloud differs from the American one, let's say?
Yes, it differs in that sense that Europe has different rules for data security and privacy protection. It differed in that sense that although we are not willing to say we have a fortress Europe and just don't let any Americans in, but the basic idea is to comply with the European legislation in all sense. So in that sense it differs, yes, because we have different nations and we have 28, and the implementation of a lot of these legal issues are different in all these different European nations, even though one tries to harmonize in Europe some of the data protection and other legal documentations.
What are the main difficulties you saw in Europe in implementing cloud projects?
The point is, in general, if you look at all those nations, is security, and security is not cloud specific. It's a general term for all IT security, but the hindering of going into the cloud is at most addressed by security and uncertainties about legal compliance.
I don't think it's a lack of standards. There are too many standards. Actually, for interoperability, you have to make a choice of standards in order really to cooperate. So the problem is actually what can you do on European level, what can be compliant with the 28 different legislations, what kind of services you have in mind, and this is actually part of the tasks of the project Linda mentioned before, Cloud for Europe. So we are fostering actually a domain dealing with interoperability not on a technical level but also on governance level and on a level of compliance in Europe. So I think it's. I don't think the main problem is a technology. The main problem is really the governance of such projects, because you need this platform on European level. If you think on mobility on European level, if you think actually on mobility also of the citizen, but also on business and things like that, you have to have a communication element on European level, trying to be a solid platform complying with legislation in each country.
From the German perspective, could you teach us some lessons for the Romanian cloud implementation?
Well, I think actually that from a German perspective, in general, if you have I don't know very well the structure in Romania, but what is very, very important, at least from my perspective, what I see in Germany, what I see in Austria, what I see in different countries, is actually to have some kind of CIO in the country. Actually, somebody who actually is an ultimate kind of person to coordinate different projects, to coordinate different strategy and things like that. In Germany, we had, it's a very, very federal country where each municipality, each country, in central government are all independent by constitution, by the fact. So we had to change the constitution in order to do cooperation and to install a CIO in Germany who takes care on kind of harmonization and interoperability, not only on technical level but also on governance level in between the countries. So this is, I think, it's a central point. In general, you should try to understand that this IT infrastructure become a critical infrastructure for the economy, critical infrastructure for everything actually, and it's a matter of the government to take care on it and provide a service, and for that you need somebody who is responsible for it.